The Horus Heresy is a lot. There are a lot of people with suggestions on where to start, or what is important to read and what isn't. This is not that. I am a writer, and I genuinely, wholeheartedly love these books, and I think you will like them too. This is the first of a series intended to give you the push you need to just go and enjoy it. While many people would start with the opening Garviel Loken trilogy, which is wonderful, and I will talk about them later, I want to talk about a book that many people probably overlook. Mechanicum by Graham McNeill. Set on Mars during the onset of the Horus Heresy, Mechanicum is a book about a lot of things, and that's its first appeal. I am not an Adeptus Mechanicus player, but every page of this book had something new to offer me. If you have read any other Graham McNeill books, like False Gods or Fulgrim, you will know he takes big themes and explores them loudly. So, what is this book about?
Mars, the red planet.
The first thing is the setting. Mars in the 31st millennium is a fascinating place.
Back in the 20th century, we had no idea there was a university on Mars.
Mars is the center of one of the only religions permitted in the entire human Imperium. The machine cult of Mars worships the Omnissiah.
Oh, nerds!
Their god of machines. And, as a machine cult, they have become the research, development, and manufacturing hub of the whole Imperium. This results in a planet covered in delightful sci-fi ideas, big and small, which allows McNeill the opportunity to explore one of the most fascinating aspects of 40k. The way this universe works, basically any fantasy idea can exist within it, but there's always a semi-hard sci-fi explanation behind it. Part of the fun of it is attempting to find a reasonable justification for this fantastical thing existing. Playing with this and examining it is one of this novel's great accomplishments. That's all great, but what is it actually about? Well, there are a lot of characters, but you can divide the story into two halves. The first half is an isekai story about our very special girl Dahlia Cythera getting whisked away from her boring scribe job on Terra and discovering the magical world of Mars of the 31st century. She meets her D&D party and goes on a wonderful adventure. But this is a Horus Heresy novel. So the other half of the novel is a complex political thriller that spans from the rulers of Mars and Terra to the pilots of the Titans fighting the war that is slowly sprawling across the surface. Nobody knows who to trust, and we get to see inside all sorts of people's heads as they try to make sense of all of this chaos.
You could almost touch Mars if you were mad.
Both of these stories are great in their own way, but together they create an excellent push-pull between tones. Also explored in both stories are all the wonderful sci-fi ideas packed into this book. From a forge city built inside an active volcano to a machine that uses psychers to scry the warp for lost knowledge, the book never stops throwing you fun ideas to chew on. Sometimes it's just a taste, sometimes it's a deep examination, but it's all delicious. Some of the best of the hard sci-fi comes with the Titan descriptions and battles. Unlike most of the other kinds of warfare in 40k, there isn't a meaningful real-world analog for Titans. There's no real-world stories you can directly draw inspiration from. The author works so hard to make this ridiculously impractical idea feel not just real, but vivid and almost relatable. And no two scenes focus on the same aspect, so it never gets repetitive. Finally, all of this comes together to create a beautiful exploration of Mars as it descends into war. But more meaningfully, it becomes an exploration of the juxtaposition between science and technology, religion and politics, morality and decisions, fantasy and sci-fi, and finally, theory and practice. I won't go deeper into how, but even if you've read it before, you will likely gain a lot from rereading it through that lens. Anyway, that's a bunch of great reasons to read Mechanicus, so go read Mechanicus. You'll enjoy it. Then come back and tell me what you enjoyed about it in the comments.
Mom! Mars is at the kitchen window. Go look.